everyone, Kathleen here from Triple Threat Tarot, and I'm doing my first pick a card for you guys, and I think this is going to be so incredibly cool. I sat with the cards last night and meditated on everything and asked Spirit to denote cards that were appropriate to whoever was choosing whatever crystal you choose. And the stories just unfold. It's so amazing. I just am dumbfounded by it. I'm going to have to do it more than once, absolutely. Maybe once a month I'll do this because it's phenomenal. I was blown away by it. So you have three options here to choose from. You have a Merkaba, of course, which is the Triple Threat logo, right? Thought is electric. Feelings are magnetic. Spark of life, right? Light, body, breath. So here it is. This is amethyst. It's pretty gorgeous, right? So if that resonates with you, that would be pile one. I also have a rose quartz Merkaba. How beautiful is that? I mean, look at it in the light. It's so pretty. I just love these. I think they're gorgeous. That is the rose quartz crystal Merkaba, and that will be pile two. And then over here, last but not least, is the rock quartz or the clear quartz. The kind of quartz you normally see me use here in these larger crystals. These are water clear, right? But this is a rock quartz of the same material. Okay. How beautiful is that? And that is pile three. So those are your piles they have to choose from. Pile one, pile two, and pile three. And I will get back with you and give you a second to kind of think about it and stare at the piles and kind of resonate with the crystals because it's unbelievable the story that's coming up. So stay tuned, pick your pile, and I'll be back with you in just a second to read pile one. And I'm going to leave the timestamps for 1, 2, and 3 down below so you can just fast forward if you like. And if you resonate with two piles, you know what I mean? Then you can come back and watch the other one as well. So, all right, I'll be right back with you. Okay, pile one, I'm ready to read for you. You chose the amethyst Merkaba. I just think this is so gorgeous, honestly. But you chose pile one. So I'm going to start with the archetypal energy. And that came out as the fault line. And this represents the energy of walking on eggshells or very precarious dynamics and sensing that something is wrong and chaos is going to ensue, right? If you walk the wrong way, say the wrong thing, just absolute chaos is going to break out. It comes as a warning to prepare yourself for some kind of change. And there's going to be no easy or quick way of fixing this when it comes. This is kind of like the Tower card, right? In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's somewhat like the Tower. It's going to redirect the existing reality. And that's possibly between you and someone else because there's a fissure or a crack that happened. And this could be something that has gone awry, some kind of secret, some kind of omission, something that was said that is interfering with the relationship staying together, and it's not really coming to the surface yet, right? But it's on its way. And, you know, in the Japanese pottery art, kintsugi, I hope I say that right, there are cracks that they mend in pottery. Like when it breaks, they'll take the pottery, they'll piece it back together, and then they'll fill in those cracks with gold. And then the pottery is actually more desirable and more beautiful because of the cracks that fill it in. And rather than hiding it away somewhere as a broken piece, they actually display it proudly on the mantelpiece. So something to consider here, that there is mending possible, that the gold that fills in those cracks may make the relationship, the situation, far more beautiful than it was prior. Okay? So that's the fault line. And then here in the Earth Oracle, you got Fortitude, which is look at this card, right? Amazing. You've got the hawk, you've got the otter. Otter is usually related to joy and playfulness. You've got the panther, you've got the red-tailed hawk, you know, seeing from a higher perspective. You've got the wolf energy here. So this is a very masculine energy, and it's asking you to see roadblocks or obstacles, someone saying something unkind, like name calling, or something that was not respectful between the two of you, any kind of challenge that you see as really an insignificant annoyance to this relationship situation whatever it may be. Don't blow it out of proportion. Does that make sense? As long as you stick with your standards and your core values and you have a strong foundation, your ideals will outlast some kind of detraction. And that can be a detractor, a person who said this to you, who's wronged you, who's made it impossible for you to get past that. Or it can be, a situation that has happened that has left you feeling cracked or fissured. Remember that when you stand firm, you don't back down, right? You focus on the bigger picture. And Spirit wants you to know that when all things change around you, there is one thing that hasn't changed. You are loved. As long as you love yourself first and you stand with your standards, rather than your societal expectations of what your relationship or your situation should look like, you will come out the victor here, okay? So that is fortitude, and that's from the Sacred Earth Oracle. I'll leave that over here. And then we have a Moonology card that says, bring love into the situation, right? New moon in Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign, so remember that this has to do with like harsh words. This has to do with some kind of mental angst that's going on because of something someone said, in my opinion, probably said or did. But it feels like a message, a text, a conversation, something that really rifted the relationship apart, okay? And here the card is saying that change is on its way and it will come quickly. And whether you get the change you want or not depends on what you bring into it, right? How you want it to go. And how do we manifest things? We feel them, right? Again, I said thoughts are electric and feelings are electromagnetic. What do magnets do? When you've got polar opposites, they pull apart, right? They won't stick together, right? So you have to have the feeling that everything will work out okay. This is no big deal. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to speak my truth and we'll mend this and it will be better and stronger than it is before. If that's what you want. If it's not what you want, then focus on what you want and feel what you want. And that will be your desired outcome. That is how you manifest what it is that you want in your life. So I'll leave this over here. Focus more on the future though than you have the past, because, then you'll be focusing on something that you want or desire rather than something that hurt you. And there seems to be a rift here that hurt you. Or it's also possible here in this pile that you've said or done something that has caused a fissure and you don't know how to fix it. So it's also possible to speak your truth and want to repair this and be honest and open and have that conversation and keep to your standards, right? But still have the feeling that it can be repaired and it will be fixed, okay? If that's what you want. Then in the Shaman Oracle, you get the Time Master. I just love how this all unfolded. It was so amazing. So the Time Master is about tick-tock, do we have enough time? There's only so much time in life to correct those things, those relationships, and fix them and heal them. And maybe this conversation was with a family member long ago. Maybe it was something that an old friend said to you, and there's always been this rift between you. Maybe it's something that a relationship with someone else, and they're back in the picture, and you still have this wound here from this fissure that was created by something that was said. Just think about the fact that reality is finite in this 3D, and you're being invited here by Spirit to take your power back, live your life unencumbered, own your standards, and step forward into your own truth, okay? You may need to choose to be detached to even have this conversation or be a participant in this conversation that's going to happen to get your healing. And maybe it's about closure. Maybe it's about just getting healing. That's a possibility too. These things happen, right? But Spirit is inviting you to step into your own truth. And I think here, fortitude, right? Have fortitude. Bring love into the situation. Be compassionate and understanding. Yet, realize that there's only so much time to fix this. If what you truly want eventually is to fix it, there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many days in a week, etc., right? But if what you want from the situation is to gain closure and stand your ground, be compassionate and be generous in your feelings, but do it now. Don't let it linger, right? Okay. So then we go to Wisdom, no, what is this one? This one is the Psychic Tarot, sorry. So we got heart chakra, which makes sense in this situation, right? Heart chakra, and material and spiritual prosperity. So the heart chakra invites you to consider unconditional love right here. What would unconditional love look like in this situation? How do you create harmony and compassion and still speak your truth? This isn't asking you to acquiesce or to be a peacekeeper or to say the right thing, not to hurt someone's feelings. This is asking you to actually heal this wound in yourself first, however that is going to happen, okay? But that, once you do that, once you heal this heart chakra, once you heal this wound, you'll attain some spiritual balance here. And that's what we're all aiming for, right? It may take a while, though. It may take a while. Then we have spiritual prosperity here too, right? Which is a number 6. And spiritual prosperity is about an attitude of gratitude. And that can serve you well. So when you think back on this relationship or situation with this other individual or them of you, what was it in its totality? Let's be fair. When we're upset or hurt or we feel wounded, right? We have a tendency to see only certain things, and something fell off my table just then. We have a tendency to see things very myopically rather than going through the positives that happened and the happiness and the joy and the events that you guys experienced together. Like, what was the totality of the relationship? Have an attitude of gratitude for that, and have an attitude of gratitude for the lesson that this taught you, and maybe taught the other person as well. Maybe taught the both of you. Maybe you'll be stronger and more beautiful as a result, like a piece of Japanese pottery, right? Or maybe you'll go your own way and you'll heal your own heart chakra because you've gotten some closure on this. But have an attitude of gratitude for the lesson that was learned. Either way, your connection is self and spirit, as long as it stays balanced, will be enriched by this experience, okay? In Wisdom of the Oracle, which is next, we get flexibility, okay? And in flexibility, we remember to be adaptable without compromising what's most important, which is your own truth. This is not compromising your truth and standing in your standards. Don't compromise those, because no matter what comes out of this, you are loved. You will be in love again with someone else if it's closure, or perhaps the two of you will heal this wound, but you've got to stand your ground. You've got to say your truth, right? And then here we got an animal spirit card, which I absolutely love for you guys, which is cheetah. Cheetah's very masculine energy here. It's a fire energy, and you can see here, by the fire design, right? And cheetahs move forward. They're very ambitious, and they move forward, and they do all these amazing things, and they always attract this audience to them. It's like, look at cheetah. Look at him go. Him, her, whatever. But it's a masculine energy, so you get what I'm saying here. In the energy of the cheetah, it's best for you to reconnect to the energy of why you're doing something in order for it to move forward at full momentum, right? Before you run, ask why. Why am I trying to fix this? What is really important here? What is important to me? What is my truth? What do I want to have happen? How can I manifest the feelings of that happening, right? And lastly, we get the card of strength here from Lightseer's Tarot. Strength is about having humility and being humble and realizing your own shortcomings and your own part and your own role in things, and having the spiritual strength to go inside and say, okay, I did this or I did that, and either to yourself or to the other person, it doesn't matter, right? But you had a role to play in whatever transpired here. Either you allowed it to happen or it happened because of you, or whatever the case may be. This isn't throwing shade at all. This is talking about having the strength to go within and see the truth of the situation, and having strength like a lion to step forward. The lion versus the lamb here, right? Have the heart of a lamb and the courage of a lion, and wear your heart, right? Now it's interesting because here we have a locket with a heart. If you can see that image, here's the locket with the heart. And here's the locket with the heart. Pretty amazing, right? the synchronicity here is kind of amazing. Then in Time Master, we have the infinity symbol here with the 8. And here we have the infinity symbol. So what are the long-standing patterns that you have been participating in? See the tattoo on our arm? For yourself, you know? How have you approached these situations in the past, and what has been the result? Maybe you need to do something different, right? Right? Maybe that will get you out of this cycle, this infinite cycle of having these situations come and go, right? Because there's the water of prosperity here when the heart chakra is balanced. So that's all I have for you for your pick a card for the amethyst, deck number 1. Yeah, I'm going to move on to the second pile now. Hope this resonated with you. If it did, give it a like, share, and subscribe. And if you resonated with another pile, stay tuned because I will be unveiling that other pile next, okay? And I think what I'll kind of do is put a little summary in the down below so you guys who picked number 1 or number 2 or number 3 have a recap of sorts down below that you can kind of reference once I get done reading. Because sometimes it's hard to remember absolutely everything that is said, okay? All right, pile number 1, amethyst, that's your read, and I'll get back to you with pile number 2. Hey, pile number 2, it's Kathleen here to give you your reading. You started with the rose quartz Merkaba, gorgeous. And rose quartz is traditionally about love and healing and self-love, yes, loving others. So I'll put that aside. We'll pull up your archetypal energy. I found this very fascinating because, like the rose quartz, this is all about acceptance, right? And loving all aspects of self, the shadow self, the light aspects of self, and realizing that there is a pearl that lies within all of this. That combined, it is the pearl, right? There is beauty in all of this combined because there's no judgment, no suppression, no lack of acknowledgement for the self. All of these aspects are needed in order for us to learn lessons and to live life to its fullest abundance. If we didn't learn any lessons in life, we wouldn't experience the joy and happiness, the highs and lows that we do. All those lessons are there because of these aspects of ourself, right? So we need to be accepting of self and love all aspects of ourself. Okay? And that is what Spirit is inviting you to do here with this. One of the exercises recommended by this card is, if you're having a hard time with this, is to look into the mirror and stare into the mirror for 30 minutes. The ego will resist, of course, because the ego sees self in a certain way, and you may start having feelings come up that are different than that. That may be a bit of a challenge, so that's an interesting exercise to undergo. The second recommendation here was to meditate on Satham and Satnam, which is I am that, and what is my true identity, basically, my true identity. So I will put those in the links below when all this is said and done under your timestamp, so you have that to refer to as a mantra going forward. The next card that you received was from the Sacred Earth Oracle, and it was discernment. And this card is all about who and what, the people, places, and things we surround ourselves with. Are they good for us, right? Are they negative? Are they positive? Do they imbue us with happiness and joy? Or do they leave us feeling drained and depleted? The music, the films, the books that you read, the people, places, and things that you surround yourself with and involve yourself with will change your frequency, if that makes sense. So, for example, through a process of osmosis almost, when you listen to music, if it's a happy song, like it's a Stevie Wonder song, and you're just, jamming in it and listening to it in the kitchen and whatever, dancing around, you're going to vibe high, right? If you're listening to super aggressive, dark, depressing music, you're going to get done with that and be like, oh, have very somewhat similar feelings around it because you resonate with the song, particularly if it's associated with something that happened in the past, right? Either good or bad, and how we view that good and bad, okay? So this card is inviting you to be more discerning, that you need to really understand how you're affecting your shadow and your light, where the balance is out of balance because of what you're surrounding yourself with. Is it bringing forth the pearl, right? Is there a balance here? Or are you resonating chaos? Is the ego causing swirl in your life? Are you the stew or the chef? Are you driving your life forward? Are you pursuing your dreams? Or is your life kind of dragging you around? Something to ask yourself here. Anything that you surround yourself with will change your belief system. It really will. Not only the frequency that you vibrate at, but your belief system will be undermined. A lot of us are empathic that look to the spiritual practices for answers and guidance from spirit, and especially empaths. You're like chameleons, right? You change. You climb on the green tree, you're suddenly green, right? You're around negative people, suddenly you start feeling negative. Suddenly you start realizing that you're talking like them, or you're taking on these attitudes that you've never had before, and they're not really yours. You don't really own them. Or you read a book and you feel one way or the other. Or you watch Netflix and you start binge watching this show, and all of a sudden you find out or realize a week later that you've been on the couch for, 7 days in the dark, right? So just be more discerning about what you choose to have materialize in your life. And there's a reason here, because you have dreams and plans that are coming in. Moonology says you need a practical plan for those dreams. So what that means is here, if you're surrounding yourself with all of these things that aren't propelling you forward to your dreams, is that realistic? Like, are you going to get there staying where you are? Are you going to get there with these people by your side? Are you going to get there if you continue to binge watch Netflix for 3 weeks on the couch? Do you know what I'm saying? So how much discernment you have in your life, like what you're going to eat, what you're going to participate in, who you're going to allow into your life, who you call, right, on the phone, who you text, all of that has some kind of impact on whether or not you fulfill your dreams for yourself. Because it impacts your mood, and it also impacts the frequency that you're vibrating at. And you're going to repel all the good things that you're dreaming of over here because you're not vibing at that level, okay? This card invites you to write down like 10 wonderful things about yourself. Have an attitude of gratitude, right? I am this, I am kind, I am charitable, I am loyal, I am whatever those 10 things are. And then write down the same amount of things, if you can, that are blocking you. I have a tendency to hang around with people who XYZ. I have a tendency to give more than I accept, right? In terms of help or in terms of whatever it is, yeah? I allow people to take advantage of me because of whatever. Write down the list about what's great about you and what you need to work on and what you need to have more discernment about, and then put a practical plan about how you're going to address those things that need to go so you can make room for people, places, and things that will get you closer to your dreams, okay? Because this isn't just going to materialize, right? You can hope and wish for it, but you have to feel it and you have to believe it. In order to vibe at that level, at that high level frequency, you need to have more discernment and surround yourself and involve yourself in things that are good for you, that drive you towards your best self, your highest purpose, okay? Then you get, actually, I'm going to go to the sacred, the shaman oracle here. Then you get the owl. So there are messages coming to you. There are things coming to you, either downloads in dreams or seeing 11111 on the clock or other angel numbers, seeing a feather on the ground, that sort of stuff. There are messages coming to you that you need to be more discerning, that it's time for you to elevate yourself. Elevate yourself away from the things that are keeping you from becoming your best and highest self, right? And you know what they are and you see them. Do you pay attention to them? Because this card is saying maybe you don't with everything, and you need to start doing that. Spirit is telling you to start listening to those messages that are being sent to you, okay? Acknowledge the truth. And if someone comes in that's a friend, right, don't kill the messenger if they say, hey, listen, I've been seeing this and this, I'm concerned about this or that. Be thankful for the person who is honest enough and loves you enough to actually have a conversation with you, maybe about the balance here and what's going on, or about people, places, and things that you're doing that are keeping you from attaining your highest self. That's a gift, okay? And the ego likes to reject that, right? But don't shoot the messenger here. There's some vibe that I'm getting here for you. Sacral chakra is your next card. Wisdom of the, is this Wisdom of the Oracle? No, this is Psychic Tarot, I'm sorry. Psychic Tarot. So This is about the sacral chakra and suffering in silence, okay? This card, this chakra, is about healing your expression, your physical expression. So it can be sexual expression, it can be creativity, whatever happens through the body, right? This chakra is located about 2 fingers below your navel, and it suggests balancing it by dancing, expressing yourself in one of those 2 other methodologies, okay? Here, suffering in silence, this is about, I just get this vibe with this, that you don't say what's truly on your mind necessarily. You're worried about what other people may think. You enjoy having the friends that you have to some degree, but you know how they would react if you told them what was going on. And I don't know if you have anyone to be reciprocal with in that regard. All right? I think the suffering in silence has to stop. You have to be able to ask for help and receive the help that is coming your way, because right after it, you get enchanting gifts, okay? There are people here who will be offering you help, who will be reciprocal, who will have that push and pull back and forth, I give, you give, you give, I give kind of relationship with you, but you've got to make room for them. You don't need to sit here and suffer in silence. A lot of times when we're in codependent or toxic relationships or with people who are unhealthy for us, we suffer in silence because we go, oh, it's not worth bringing it up. Or, oh, they said that and it hurt me, but, I like having them as a friend. That sort of situation, right? Oh, when they were sick, I brought them over some soup and, I've been sick for 3 weeks. I haven't, seen a text come from them. Not one. You need to make more room for people who are going to be reciprocal, okay? And the only way to do that is to get over the fear of being alone long enough for them to be able to come into your life and to extricate those people, places, or things that are stopping them from being in your life, because they're there on the perimeter, okay? And they will come in. You just need to get this discernment thing going. The next card that you got was the turtle. And the turtle is an ancient soul. He makes, progress little by little. It's a water sign. He's swimming around in water. Water is about our emotions, right? So the suffering in silence, you're swimming around in the emotions of suffering, yeah? But nobody's pulling you out of the water here. This is a very grounded energy. And I think in order to get through this, you're going to need to ground yourself some. But you don't need to do this alone. Again, get the little Bengal cat and the little fairy ballerina here exchanging gifts, right? You exchange your gifts with those people around you that you choose to have in your life, and they exchange their gifts with you. It's a give and take. It's a push and pull. It's reciprocity. This turtle's flailing around on his own, and he's suffering in silence. So definitely needs some discernment here. And the last card is the devil, okay? You need to be selective about the people that you have in your life. This represents toxicity. It can be obsessions of yours, right, that aren't healthy, like if you overeat or smoke or whatever it is that you want to and you should get rid of in order to achieve your dreams. Spirit's telling you the time to do that is now, right? Time to do that is now. And you know that. Intuitively, you know that. And here, this is saying there is a pull here for you to get pulled back into this constantly, right? Into this negative mindset, this obsessive kind of situation. But, it's hard not to suffer in silence when you have someone like this in your environment, because this can instantly turn into chaos or swirl or drama or explode. And so I have this feeling you're choosing to suffer in silence rather than extricate this from your life. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with starting to move yourself away from this, okay? Swim away from this. These are dark waters. And open up room for these people that are going to be there in your life, okay? However you think that can best come about. And I understand with the pandemic and everything else, that's been a really difficult challenge, right? But we're nearing the end here. Am I knocking on wood? I am. We're nearing the end here with the vaccines coming out and everything else. So I think it's time for you to start preparing yourself to walk out into the world again and to be your full self, realize your own value here, and be more discerning about who you offer that gift to, right? Because you need someone who's going to exchange it back with you. All right, pile 2, that's what I have for you in the reading. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe at the end of the video. And if there was another pile you were interested in checking out, the timestamps are below. You can resonate with more than one pile, you know? Absolutely. Check it out if you did, okay? Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Hey, Group 3, it's Kathleen here to read your pile. You had the rock quartz. It's kind of the clear, milky quartz here, right? All right. And this pile is really about coming out of, well, let me just get into it and I'll just tell you then because it'll be easier to explain. So initially you get the desert, right? And this reminds me of Dark Night of the Soul. And this archetypal energy is all about a drought, right? Being in the Badlands, being in the Dark Night of the Soul, being disoriented and desperate for direction here in your life, that you're grasping for meaning and solid ground. You can see where he's kind of like in quicksand here, right? And the sky is red, remember? What is that saying? Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning, right? And there's the red sky and this guy is sinking quickly. There's a sense of existential dread here and a need for some clarity. And, you're pleading with life to get back to normal, back to the way it was. Something has transpired, probably a tower moment that ignited this Dark Night of the Soul time frame. While you're not going to get a lot of comfort here because it's about you going through the feelings and going within and investigating the self. You're rolling things, cycles that have continued throughout your life, that sort of thing. You are being called to transform here. You may, however, have an unbridled sense of creativity in this period, and you may also be getting like visions and downloads in this period. So that's a possibility for you in the Dark Night of the Soul, and you'll wonder where they came from, but they're there for a purpose. And because they're there to show you the truth, the shadows that you haven't seen before in your life, and that shadow aspect is self. So, let it work its magic. It won't last forever. And remember that you're not alone, right? The water's really near. You'll go through this, but you'll come out on the other side a much different person than the way you went in. The next card that you got was the Sacred Oracle card. And this is about time. And this is about someone who is sitting in this Dark Night of the Soul later in life and kind of looking back on life with regrets. Like, why did I spend my time doing this or that? Why was I with this particular person or not with that particular person? How come I didn't pursue that career? And having like this sense of forlorn regret and woe over that and wishing that you could get it back. But, comparing yourself to anyone else will only make yourself miserable. The only thing you can do really in that sense is set some expectations for yourself, like daily or weekly, right? Set a plan in motion where you're going to achieve certain things, and work your way out of it, and compare your own progress to your own progress, right? Like, I was going to do this today and I got that done. Check. Make yourself that list of to-do things that you do in the work environment. Because when you make progress, it will lead to a sense of accomplishment instead of this sense of failure that you're having, right? And this lack of joy and pining for, the lost youth and all the time that you wasted, quote, wasted learning all these lessons that are now going to propel you forward into a completely different life. So, the feeling that it's too late and the bitterness that comes with that is really wasted time and energy, and it will actually keep you from achieving what the potential is for you to achieve here, and the reason why you were put in this Dark Night of the Soul to begin with by Spirit, okay? So here we have a new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. Capricorn is an energy of ambition. It's about going after your goals. And this card basically says that you're going to get a new start in life. After all of this, you're going to get a brand new start, and there's a reason for it, right? So you need to take a look at the long-term goals that you have. Like, what are your dreams and what are your long-term goals, and where do you want to be, like, let's say in a year? And then be a bit ambitious about whatever it takes to achieve that. Make a list of all the things that you need to do. Be disciplined. Execute to the plan to the best of your ability, and know that it takes hard work to get to where you want to go, but you're ready for it now. You've had to go inside and do this spiritual awakening work to get to this point, and all of it was necessary to get here. All of it. Even though it seemed like you might have wasted time and energy and whatever, and you should be farther along, it's not the case, right? The universe has a different sense of time than we do. And your hard work is going to pay off for you. So start on it now and start kind of thinking about where you want to go and where your skill sets are best used. You also get the lower world. And again, this lower world is dark night of the soul. You know, this is about finding the parts of yourself that you've disowned, the parts of yourself that you've suppressed, the abandoned aspects of your psyche, okay? The gifts and lessons of our ancestors are lurking around down here in the lower world. And these are going to help us achieve our success this time, right? For us, utilizing those. You can meet your demons here in this desert, in this lower world. With all this emotional stuff, you're going to meet your demons. And you're going to transform them into the energy that's going to drive your personal power to get this accomplished, okay? It's time to unearth all your gifts, too, that you've left behind. Things that you didn't acknowledge because you were doing something else. You didn't have the possibility of going after them until now. It's time to dig those back up and recast your life as a heroic quest, acknowledging and embracing your past and honoring everything that has transpired, and reflect on the lessons that have been learned and move on. As you embrace your gifts, I think you'll recover a missing part of your soul, the part here that feels like, oh, you know, what have I been doing? You'll know why when you get to this point. But I think the most productive thing you can probably do right now while you're going through all of this is to start thinking about where it is that you want to go. You also got the Crown Chakra card from Wisdom of the Oracle. And you got the Stand Your Ground card, which is interesting because these are both sevens, right? Crown Chakra is called the 1,000-petal lotus. It's the top of your head. It's where the energy and light comes in and out of your physical body. And it's believed, you know, this is where you exit the body and enter the body. And when that is in balance, everything else works. You know what I mean? The Crown Chakra is the receiver of light. And it allows you to have a connection with spirit when it's balanced. So in order to balance this, if you need work on this, which it's saying here that you do, you can do yoga, you can do meditation, you can do breath work, you can do acupuncture. Any and all of those things to align the frequencies in your body and the energy in your body will be helpful to you. And then here you have Stand Your Ground. So you've been put in a position where, you know, you're going to come up against some rivals, some competition. You're being tested here. This is all a big test for you, right? Once you come out of this feeling like everything was a waste and you realize the benefit of the lessons you've learned and you unearth all of your talents and you try and strive to use them to do something better here with your life, right? Something that you really want to go after. Not necessarily better, but something you want to go after that's for you instead of for somebody else, and to the greater good of everyone. You're going to have to stand your ground because there's going to be a lot of competition here, I think, and I think this is all part of your test. You will have many rivals. You may feel like you're very alone, but this aloneness, this kind of cocooning phase is for your benefit. It's to allow you to focus only on this and not be distracted by other people's needs and other things that need your time and attention, because you've already spent all your time on other stuff. It's time for you to spend your time here, right? Don't surrender or give up, because you will be victorious eventually, okay? Then you have the Wisdom of the Oracle, round and round. So there's a cycle that's been here in your life where you know, you've had this cycle of giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving is what I'm getting. And it just goes round and round, and you keep finding yourself with not getting the reciprocity out of people. When this card appears, it's a reminder that although it appears that you've gone backwards by landing in the desert and the lower world, the truth is you are now standing on higher ground. See how he's on higher ground here? Touching the rays of the sun? You are standing on higher ground now. You're in your crown chakra. That's the highest chakra you can, right? Well, there are other ones, but out of the 7, that's it, right? This is the top of the totem pole in terms of chakras. You're going to learn something and do something better and break a cycle that was set up in the past. So this cycle is going to end now. This karmic cycle is going to end. That's what all of this is happening for. No more of this constant swirl and chaos. You're going to be here again, working on the things that are important to you. And it is going to pay off. It says you are going to be victorious. So you also get the mouse as a spirit card, which is really interesting because the mouse is a very nervous, kind of organized animal spirit energy. You know, you have an innate desire for the details. And rather than worrying and fretting about everybody else's business or what's going on, right? Spirit is asking you to worry and fret about this. Like, put your well executed eye on your own stuff, on your own dreams, on your own goals, and your hard work is going to pay off. You have to be ambitious and you have to work hard and be exacting to detail here because the competition is going to be stiff, right? But this mouse energy is actually going to help you in this role to achieve your dreams, right? You're going to dive into a purposeful project that's going to help you achieve your dreams. And then the final card here is the Page of Wands, which is very interesting energy because a page is an immature energy. It's like the start of something. It's passion, it's exuberance, it's creativity, right? It's the start of something. So you're embarking on a journey here with this Page of Wands. And just want to see here. I made a note here. Passion. Oh, yes. Okay. That's what I wanted to mention. So you have a learning curve here. Don't be thrown by the learning curve, right? You're going through a lot here, but the competition's fierce and you're going to have a learning curve. You know, you're going to do what really well or think you should be here. And then you're going to come down and you're going to see that there's this competition and, oh, how can I do things better? It's going to take you a little while. Okay. But pay attention to the details because you're good at that. And go after these passions because they're divinely inspired, all right? And you're at the end of this karmic cycle, and you will be victorious, okay? So that's what I have for you, Pile 3. If other piles resonated with you, please feel free to check those out. They are in the timestamps below. And, you know, I was going to leave a link for everyone to the mantras that I mentioned and like a little recap, but I think what I'm going to do is just leave a link that goes somewhere else so that when you pick the piles, you're not like kind of referencing those before you actually pick the piles because I want that to be an intuitive choice. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments. If it resonated with you, please let me know in the comments. And I thank you for watching the video and joining me on this little journey. I had a lot of fun doing it and it kind of blew my mind how everything tied together. Everything that I meditated on when I asked Spirit for the cards for those people who would be picking, you know, the amethyst crystal, boom, 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 boom. They all came out one after the other into this complete unified message from Spirit. And that happened for all of the piles. And it was really fascinating to do. And I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did doing it. Thanks so much. Love you guys. Take care. And I will see you next time. All right. Bye.